Hello there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Oh, it's weird. It's weird. Today I want to talk about, hold on, I gotta see, is my camera even rolling? It's just one of those weeks, months, I don't even know. It's so crazy. How long has it been? Like 3.5 years since we spoke? I don't know. These 2 weeks have been so insane. And I work from home anyway, so that doesn't really, it hasn't affected me as much as a lot of people that are now working from home because of the COVID-19 outbreak. But my kids are home. My kids are in high school, so it's not like they're little, they're toddlers or anything, and they're very self-sufficient. So, so they're doing okay. And I've been thinking, well, okay, my inbox is pretty calm. I'm a freelance artist, as you know. I do my YouTube videos, but I also work for clients and stuff. And I luckily had not procrastinated this winter, so I was pretty much on top of everything, all projects I was doing. So, my email's been a little slow. It's like, oh, okay, I got the time to do some work for fun and just play with whatever I want to use, whatever materials have been sitting around waiting to get used, and, where I don't need to come up with something brilliant, I can just play, and I'm having a hard time getting motivated. Kids, those are not elephants. Upstairs, those are kids. So yeah, I'm filming during this time, and I have construction and I've got kids. It's a loud house. That's all right though. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of talk about the struggle that I've been having, which is, how do you get creative? How do you be creative when you're just feeling blah? You're just not feeling motivated. You've got this time. Maybe you're furloughed from work. You're probably stressed out if you're furloughed from work because you're like, I got bills to pay and, I'm home. But you're thinking, well, since I'm home, I want to do something, creative and constructive, but I can't think of what to do, or I'm just not feeling motivated. Or like me, you get addicted to watching the news and seeing all of the things, and it's like, oh, this is awful, I can't watch. Oh, I gotta keep watching. No, I can't watch. It's like, oh, what's on CNN? It's like, oh, gotta turn off the TV. So today I'm going to share some tips and tricks on how I get motivated when I'm stuck in one of those funks, because I have been there this last 2 weeks. It has been strange. A lot of the things that are coming up on my channel I filmed months ago. I tried to batch film, so I always have stuff going up. So if I get an opportunity to do really big project, I can do it. I don't have to turn it down. I can be like, yep, I'm all set. I can jump right into that. And which has been weird because I've had some of my Saturday morning vlogs going up and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so frivolous. That's so silly. That's so inappropriate. I probably shouldn't even mention that because the world is serious now. But then again, maybe that's when we need a little bit of silliness. I don't know. It's so rambly. Gosh. Yeah, I didn't really plan that much. I was, I haven't had, I don't think I put makeup on for like 2 weeks. So I was filming actually the unboxing of my Jerry's Adorama signature sets, which was another thing. I'm like, should I really be showing this to people? Because, these are serious times, people don't need art supplies in these serious times. But then again, on the other hand, it's like, well, art's a very soothing, therapeutic thing, and people, creating is a good outlet. It's a good thing. You probably have plenty of things to create with at home, and I think that one of the first ways that I can get out of my funk, if I'm trying to create or paint or craft or scrapbook or whatever, and I can't seem to get going, one of the first things that helps me get out of that funk is to actually clean and organize my supplies. I find it to be very calming to make order of things, to take chaos and make order. It's kind of like, I guess if you were somebody who liked numbers, maybe taking all of your crazy receipts and, tax information and filing a tax return and getting everything all organized, maybe that's very therapeutic. I don't know, but I find it very therapeutic to take something that's very messy and chaotic and bring it to order. So if you have a messy drawer, if you have a junk drawer, if you have just a pile of supplies that need to be put away, or maybe you have bins of projects that are half done, like finishing them up or deciding that you're going to abandon them and just put the supplies away, reorganizing, putting all your pencils together, putting all your markers together, whatever it is, organizing things by color, organizing your scrap paper bin, organizing your fabric, whatever it is. I find that organizing is a wonderful way to kind of, you're doing something creative, but it doesn't really take a lot of brain power, and you can kind of refamiliarize yourself with your supplies, and before you know it, you're going to find something that you want to work with and that you want to create with, and you'll be in that flow state because you've already kind of relaxed, and you start to get those positive, energies flowing, I think. So that's the first thing I do, is I think cleaning and organizing. Sometimes I will leave a mess in my studio the night, like at the end of the day, I'll just like, you know what, I'm going to leave that mess because when I come in tomorrow, I'll have something to do to get started with, and that will be picking up my mess and putting things away. Because getting started is the hardest thing. When I used to have my studio downtown, I would always have a painting in progress on my easel, usually an oil painting. And because as soon as I come through the door, I would get to start on that. I wouldn't have to think about what am I going to start with today? What am I going to do? Because starting something new at the beginning of the day can feel very overwhelming. But if you have something going, then it can feel a lot more easy to just kind of ease into it and get going, because you've already started, so you're not starting from a cold stop. You've already got some momentum going on a project. So leaving something half done or leaving a mess that you need to pick up the next day. Now that might not work for everyone. For other people, it might be better to clean up completely the night before, and then walking into a fresh, clean space would be more inspiring. It's completely up to you, and it could be different on different days. Some days you could just be raring to go. You have so many ideas that you just want to jump in a clean space and start working, and then other times it's like you need that 15 minutes of just tidying up to kind of get you in the groove of a work time or creative time. So another thing that I find to be really inspiring, or a good way to get inspired, is to keep a list. And that list can be on your computer or it can be on paper. I go back and forth between using a Google Calendar and using my my planner here. And what I do is I keep like a weekly to-do list, and I just write down all the projects that I want to do during the week, and I check them off as I go. And if I know that I'm not going to get a project done, I make an arrow and I put it on to the edge of the page, knowing that I'm going to write that on the next week. I usually don't put arrows until the weekend for the next week, and then I rewrite my list. That's kind of like bullet journaling, but it's not pretty, it's messy, but it works really well for me. And then another thing that I'll do is I will keep like a collection of reference photos for paintings. I use the website Unsplash a lot, and I will make different collections there, which are kind of like galleries, kind of like folders. And I'll have one for like birds, and one for portraits, and one for flowers. Or I might even have one for like oils or watercolor, something like that. So I can kind of organize my, I can just kind of, if I'm not feeling that inspired, I can just kind of gallery browse and look at reference photos and get ideas, and just kind of sort the ideas if they kind of spark something in my brain. And then later on I can go look at it and see if anything still sparks my imagination, and maybe combine a few reference photos, and or maybe even just work in my sketchbook with one of those pictures. And that way, if I'm not feeling super duper creative, like this last couple weeks, man, it's been, watching too much news and just feeling just overwhelmed, I guess. At least I can prep something. And another way that I will prep stuff is I have these little shallow baskets. My gosh, I should have some. Oh, I got one right over there. I got one with a project in it even that I'm working on right now. So I've been working on this project, and it's in this basket here. These are letter trays from the Dollar Tree. And so I've got a couple rubber stamps in here that I'm going to be using. I've got a couple, I've got some little poppies that I have stamped and colored. I'm thinking about making just like a bunch of just cheerful little thinking of you cards just to send out to friends and family right now, because you can't visit anybody with the COVID-19 outbreak. And I got the stamp set that I had used, because I think I might use some of the coordinating sentiments in there with these. I'm going to do some background stamping over them. So I just have this all right here. Look at this cute little, before the whole shutdown of the world, I got this cute little feather dish at the Dollar Tree. It's white, but I have some dried ink on there because I was using the water brush pens on those, so I figured I'd probably use some of those inks again. So I'll put like everything for a project in a bin like this, and then I'll just set them on my shelves, and then when I'm ready to create, all I gotta do is grab a bin, and I'll just use whatever's in the bin, because I've already pulled it together. And that way, if you want to like go maybe, like say if I didn't want to be in the basement because heaven forbid I missed something on the news and I want to go upstairs and I want to watch the news, I don't recommend that for creativity. But we all have our vices. I can take that basket upstairs and I can work in front of the television. So any good vibes I get from creativity will be quickly canceled out by whatever's happening on TV. So yeah, I don't recommend that. Why can't we do what we know what's good for us? You know, it's like we know that creativity is good for us. We know that painting is good for us. Knitting, crochet, sewing, all these things, all these creative endeavors are good for us. And yet we'll scroll on our phones and make ourselves anxious and miserable. I don't know. We humans are complex, I guess. And another thing, something that's been annoying me online, and I should just put the phone down. Well, I have put the phone down and I picked up the camera. On Facebook, there's all these crafty groups, and I'm in a few of them. And there's been this big debate on whether sewing masks for hospitals is good or you know, should you or shouldn't you, but there are hospitals asking for sewers to sew masks, right? And hospitals are asking for them. They have a certain pattern. They, you know, says anything, any help you can give, that's great. Every time somebody shares one of those articles, there'll be some Debbie Downer in the comments saying, just so you know, they're not going to protect against all these things, and that's a false insecurity, and, you know, yada, yada, yada. But if the hospitals are asking for them and people want to do it, some protection's better than zero protection, which is what they're getting now if they have no masks left. This bickering just going on every single thread, and I just see it's like there's so much bickering right now. I saw people only just want to go online so they can fight with people. It's like they just want to be contrarian instead of like, and these are craft groups. It's not like, you know, I'm on some like political Twitter feed. This is like my crafty groups are acting all crazy. Not the Frugal Crafter community, mind you. You guys are all awesome. These are random, you know, pot stirrers and some of these other craft groups. I don't know. I keep my head down low in those groups pretty much. And yet I scroll and I read and I don't want to say I judge, but I try not to judge. But I'm like, seriously? That's what I say. Like, seriously, you're going to bicker about that, you know? And yet I scroll on. So there you have it. So tip number 1, if you want to be more creative, stay off of Facebook, stay off of the internet, don't watch TV, throw a bunch of supplies in a bin, and get to work. Or if you are going to go online, go onto like Unsplash and scroll through the galleries and find some inspiring things that you want to paint later. Or just like open up a picture and sketch from it and just get something started, or leave a mess in your studio so you can clean it the next day, or leave a project half done in your studio so you can pick up where you left off and you don't have that kind of like starting from nothing. You've got a little momentum already when you get going. So you guys having any trouble being creative when you're stuck home? Is it just me? It seems like it should be so easy, doesn't it? But it's difficult. It's hard to get ourselves into that frame of mind where we want to be creative. And you know, it just can be troubling. I see one of my kids right around the corner. Hey, Maisie. Hi. Come here.
Are you
say
live?
Hi? No, I'm not live. Come here. I'm recorded. You want to come here and say hi? I see
you.
you with the oil paints, Maisie. Do you know those are oil paints and not acrylics?
I was going to ask you where the juggling balls are.
Come here. You want to say hi?
I don't look good.
You're beautiful. She's beautiful.
Okay. Do you know where they are?
The juggling balls?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure. I have to find my juggling supplies. That's all for me today. We'll catch you next time. Happy crafting.